Hello, product junkies. My name is Saurabh, a product designer, design mentor, a freelance design consultant. Today, I'll be talking about very interesting thing. If you're one of them who is not sure about how to get into UI UX, and this video is for you. How to break into UI UX, then this video is for you. Because I had a very similar conversation with one of my dear mentee, Satya. He's already working in Amazon as a quality analyst. So during this video, you're gonna get answer to all your questions. So without a further ado, let's get started. Hi Satya,
Hi.
welcome
Yes,
to one-on-one mentorship session with Saurabh. So let's start it out. So before jumping on that, can we just have an intro from you, like what do you do, where you coming from, and what is your background, what sort of experience you have in UI UX?
Yeah, I'm Satya. I'm from Chennai.
I
Actually,
see.
I'm from engineering background, from aerospace engineering. I did my
I see.
aerospace. I graduated in 2019. After that, I appeared in many government official exams like in ISRO and DRDO exams. But I lost my passion in that, and I realized that I do have an interest in it, but not a passion in it. So that
I
I
see.
searched for many jobs, and I got a job in Amazon as a catalog associate, which is a non-technical role. And after it was a wonderful journey, but there is no creativity in it. So
I see.
I thought it will be a repetitive process without any creativity. Uh, that will be waste of my time, right? So I just resigned my job and started searching for my passion. I did codings like in cloud computing for a month. I started learning cloud computing and also Java, and I'm not interested in
Interesting.
particularly in those things, but my friend suggested that web development, which is quite a bit of use of creativity, right? So I started learning it. Where there I learned about UX and UI designs, which is more interesting than web design. So I started learning it, and while learning, I feel that in real life, I feel I'm applying those principles in it. So if I want to order something in my website, in an app, mobile app, I used to think that this dimension is like this, or this the font is used to this. So it is more
Interesting.
interesting and more. Or like I'm using that principles in real life. So I started learning more seriously, and then I started after I didn't complete it in 100%, but somewhat I learned scratch the surface, and I got a I talked with my local client, that is VK
I
Construction,
see.
and
Mm-hmm.
they want to develop a website and
Hmm.
strong online presence to ensure that online presence. And I created designed a website for them. That's a DM I have now. I don't know how to further proceed in my career, so I am seeking advice from you.
That's great. That sounds interesting. First of all, welcome to UI UX.
Yeah.
And as you've already made your mind like you want to get into UI
Yes.
UX. So it is start with first understanding the graph, like what is UI UX is, right? So for that, I can recommend you a couple of places where you can just look for the information. So you need to understand the graph first, right? And as you said, you already having some experience in the tech. As you told me, like you were learning couple of backend technologies like Java and couple of web development technology you told me, right? So if you want to get into tech, that's a separate story. But whereas you told me like you have developed your interest into UI UX also, so that's amazing. So what I can recommend you, like first understand the craft, how does that work, and then pick up couple of projects. I would say pick up at least one project. For example, you are already having a client there, right? So start with them, understand their requirement, what they're looking for, and start building for them, right? But prior to that, if you just want to portray your thoughts or you want to portray your ideas into interface, you should know a couple of tools or at least one tool to portray your ideas. So one of the very popular tool is available in the market, which is called Figma,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I don't know that.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm
So
designing in that
do
only.
you okay? You are using Figma.
Yeah, yeah, I'm using Figma.
Amazing, amazing. On top of that, start learning about the design process. Right?
Yeah.
How do we start with the problem statement? How do we refine that? How do we conduct research with the users, with the actual users, to understand their pain points,
Yes.
their motivation, their needs, desire, right? So all
Yeah.
those sort of things you'll have to figure out. You're self-learning, right? So just
Yeah.
wondering, you're working full time as well along with it with
No,
Amazon
actually, I resigned my job. No, I resigned my job on, last year.
now.
So I
Mhm.
started, and this is a complete where I want to completely change my journey in that. So I completely switched over to UX and UI designs.
Great, great. So the best advice can be for you is that you just first learn about the craft, what is UI UX is, then learn about the design process. It's like it's not an ideal process, but learn about the design thinking. How does that work? What is the discover phase means? How to empathize with users, right? How to understand their pain
Yeah.
points, how to understand their motivation, needs, wants, how to design intuitive experience, right? So there is no defined path, but I can recommend you a couple of free resources where you can learn from, right? But on top of that, I would say as you are just learning about the craft, start building your portfolio as well, right?
Yeah.
So all
Actually,
those.
I do have a portfolio in Behance of .NET.
So
Can I
I think
show you?
mm,
Yeah.
you might have shared your link, right?
Yeah. Yes. Already shared
Can
the
you
link.
share that link in the chat so that I can have a look on that?
Sure.
Uh, Huh. Meanwhile, as I was telling, learn about the process. There's a process called design thinking. Just learn about that, how to implement that, how to facilitate design thinking, how to discover about the users, how to empathize, how to ideate on any of the problem statement. And as we do say in in user experience, like we do work with the people and we work with for the people. So you are
Yeah.
already aware about the collaboration.
Yeah. Yes.
Let me have a look. This VK Construction is your real client?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Actually, it
see.
is a local company which has not at all in online presence. They are doing the business on individual level. So that I talked with them, and it is I got it through my friend's connection. So I
I
didn't
see.
go to them personally, but I got it from friends connection. And I suggested them that it would be better to have a strong online presence instead of only relying on the individual level. So I designed
That's
their websites in
amazing.
that.
hmm I can find your portfolio really fascinating, but the problem is that it's look like junior designer. And whereas you have already worked with a very good company called Amazon, right? If you want to get into that sort of product-based company, you'll have to religiously follow design process. You have to religiously follow design frameworks. There are a whole lot of no research methods available in the market, right? So you'll have to understand the reasoning behind them. Why did you conduct the research? How did you figure out primary research? How did you figure out secondary research? What sort of tools you have used? For example, you might have conducted user interviews. Why did you choose to go with user interviews, right?
Okay.
Right? And how did you analyze your research? How did you reach out to the optimal solution, right? In UI UX,
Yeah.
whatever you do, there is a reasoning behind that. It may be
Yeah.
psychological, logical, or any of the data that you got from the users. It may be during research. There can be two type of research. One can be primary research, and other can be secondary research, right? So that you'll have to religiously follow and make sure to work on the real life problem statement. It was one of the problem statement that you had worked on. It was you
Mm.
were building a website for the construction company.
Yes.
So basically it was more of a online presence you were building for them, as you have told me also, right? But it is not that fascinating project that where the company can pick you up, right?
Yeah.
If you want to get into product based company, so you'll have to have the very solid resume. You'll have to have the very solid product portfolio. So I'm gonna suggest you at least start with one, and you need to have at least three case studies in your portfolio to get into product based companies. So I can say one thing, like pick one passion project or one real life problem that you face on day to day basis, and start solving for that. Start with the research, follow the ideal process, as you have the freedom, or as you have the opportunity to use every possible tool that you can use, because you have a budget. You don't have any budget constraint, right? You might not be having time constraint also,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes.
pick up a real life problem that you can solve using your design skills. As I went through your portfolio, so somewhere you understand the design process also. I was just wondering how to explain you layman language. Now I've seen it, so you already have a little bit understanding of
Yeah.
design process. So what you need to do, whatever you read about the design process over internet, people do follow that religiously. People do follow that religiously. That
Okay,
means
I don't
these
understand.
are not the ideal frameworks. These are the frameworks that people do actually use, right? So
Yeah,
what you're gonna do? Pick up a passion project, figure out the problem statement, start working on that. Use every possible tool. Learn about the tools. Tools means frameworks. Why did you use user research? Why did you conduct user research? Why did you use user survey? How did you perform user interviews? How did you prepare questionnaires? There, how many methods are available there? How did you figure out this method suits you pretty well in that project, right? It's not about it the technique. It is more about a toolbox. All these methods are more of a toolbox. So which tool where it fits well, it's all about that, right? And
yeah,
how you facilitate that, how you execute your design thinking, you execute your design process, that's the key. And how well you are able to give it a meaning, how well you understand the reasoning behind it, right? For example, you are doing an ideation session, you are creating sketches, then you are converting those sketches into a wireframe. How will you understand why did you created those sketches, right? Why did you
yeah.
created wireframes? So everything whatever you do, there has to be reasoning
That's
behind
the
that.
reason.
And religiously explain that also. People do
In
say
the case studies, right?
storytelling. Correct. In your case
Yeah.
study, in your
Okay.
portfolio, people do say like storytelling is a key in UI UX design. If you understand how to carve your story, how to craft your story, that's the key, right?
Yeah, I don't
Talk
understand
about
that.
numbers in your case study. How did you impact the business? How did you connect with the multiple stakeholders? What was your role? What was your main objective of this case study? That you need to shine in your case study, right? For example, you were working for BK Constructions, right? So how did you craft that experience, and what sort of your use, like what sort of user base was there, and how did you impact the business? It's all about business, right? After all,
Yeah.
you'll be working for a business, and they'll be
Yes.
running or getting revenues from somewhere, right? So it's all about business. So how did you get the revenue? How did you how did you help your clients? How did you help uh, your product, right, to generate revenue, to convert their potential customers or generate leads, right? It can be any of them. After all, it's all about business. Talk about the collaboration. How did you collaborate with business people? It may be stakeholders there, right? You might be directly working with the account manager, whosoever it is. Talk about them, right? Bring those key insights to your case study.
Insights.
What did you learn about once you were done with that? What did you learn from that case study? Talk about the takeaways. How did you empathize with the users? What were the challenges you were facing? All those things you need to talk about. But before starting it out, what I am seeing somewhere, you know the terminology, you know the design thinking process, but you need to understand the reasoning behind that also. There are a couple of courses available on the internet. You can take it from there, or we even I am a design mentor at one of the design institute. It is called Dice Academy.
Right,
In
second.
it is based out of Delhi, so you can
Okay.
take mentorship or the design course from there also. If you are going for self study, then go for self study. I'm not saying like just go
Yeah.
with the any of the course. It's like just what I am saying, but start learning about the process, because it is never ending. It's not, as you have already chosen this field, you already been aware about it. It's a continuous learning. You'll
Yes.
have to continuously improvise, improve yourself, right? You'll have to get the knowledge about the users, right? As the behavior is changing of the users.
Yeah.
Take an example, the people, I mean the Gen Z, how the Gen Z behaves nowadays, we were not behaving that. So you'll have to understand the user person, how they're behaving, how their behavior is changing out, right? So that you'll have to
Yes.
understand. And all those insights, all those knowledge, all those experiences, you'll have to incorporate in your product. Huh. So as for the moment, what I can give you, one takeaway you can take from this class can be start learning about the craft, then
Okay.
understand the process, understand the frameworks, understand the importance of frameworks. Why do we use them? How can we what sort of frameworks where you need to use, right? And what is the importance of the design thinking? How can we facilitate that? It's all about execution. It's UI UX design is pretty much pretty much experimental learning,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
It is more of like, if I want to teach you like how to fly plane. If I'm just teaching you from here only on Zoom call, or on video call. You might not be able to fly it out until unless you sit on cockpit and pull the lever.
Yeah.
So it's all about first hand experience,
Yes.
right? Until
Yeah.
unless you'll not be participating first hand, you won't be able to get crux out of it. You won't be able to get juice out of it. Right? It
Yes.
is about experience. Because
Experience.
people do say like this, we do work with the people and we do work for the people. We will be working for real users. We'll be solving for them and we'll be working for real problems. It's not translating any interface into a code. It is more about translating users' requirement into a product,
Yeah.
generating a need or just fulfilling a need, right? Creating a motivation or fulfilling a motivation, basically. It's more about that. And how you understand that with empathizing with users,
And that's
right? And there are a whole lot of like psychological reasons to understand human behavior, but you'll have to first understand those principles, right? Just learn about them, learn about the psychological principles, learn about the human behavior, learn about the design thinking process, learn about the product thinking. So all these things you'll have to work on,
yeah.
right? So as there's no step-by-step guide to learn UI UX, but what do I use when I do mentor students? I do suggest them start learning with UI. First, learn about the UI. Start copying or replicating the experience that product are having. For example, start replicating uh, Paytm payment flow. Start replicating Zomato experience. Start replicating Amazon flow, Amazon interface.
Yeah.
Then you're going to learn about the product thinking, what sort of designs they're creating, what sort of interaction they are creating, how they are incorporating emotions into the interfaces, right? By
Yeah.
replicating the things, you'll be also brushing up on your Figma skills, on your tool skills, right? And once you have the tool, once you have, cracked the user interface, you have cracked the tool, once you have cracked the replicating the things, then you can start putting your learnings about UX, right? So start with UI. Now if you're getting any paid product, start working on it or like fulfill that. If not, if you're working on a passion project, first start learning about the UI. If you
Okay.
know, like basically aesthetic also plays a role. People do like oversell, like UX is everything, like it's all about user experience, it's all about functionality, but in real life it is more about first impression also, how aesthetically pleasing your product is, right? How visually appealing your product is. It's more about that also, right?
Yes,
Until
very
unless
much.
you'll not be impressed with the product, you won't be able to use it. You're not gonna try, even you're not gonna bother yourself to try it out, because it's a human bias. The things who looks better, human mind perceive them, they're gonna work better. And
Yes.
along with that, there's a whole lot of competition in the market nowadays. For an example, in fintech industry, there's tens of app available, right?
Yes.
Like there's Paytm, PhonePe, Freecharge, CRAD, or like native mobile application from your bank can also make a payment. There are a whole lot of pay later application can make a payment, right? Even you can make a payment from WhatsApp also.
Yeah.
So there is a
Nowadays,
whole lot of competition.
yeah.
So if you don't have experience as over your competitor, nobody will gonna use your product, right? If
Yes.
you have a distinct
Yeah.
experience, frictionless experience, intuitive experience, then you can attract users. If you have aesthetically pleasing product, you can attract users. So UI also plays a role in
Nature.
your designing for better interfaces or for better experience. So start with UI. First, crack the UI. Once you have cracked the UI enough, at least for 15 days, try UI.
Okay.
Start replicating couple of websites, Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, those big websites. Start
Yeah.
replicating them, and
Okay.
once you've cracked that, start incorporating parallelly. Also start learning about UX, psychology, human behavior, right? So start learning about them also, and once you've cracked that, start incorporating all those experiences, right? Learn about heuristic evaluations, learn about design critics, watch design podcasts, right? Whatever the content you can consume from the internet, start consuming that,
Okay.
right? So go over YouTube, there are thousands of channels available. There are thousands of blogs are available. I can name you a couple of them. Like start reading about the articles or start reading the articles from NN Group.
And then go.
NN Group. These are the father of UI UX. These are the people who has
Okay.
coined the user experience term. So these are the people who are the father of UI UX. So start learning about that. I mean, like, start learning from there. And along with that, there's a very popular book in design. We call it the design of everyday things. Start
Design
thinking
of
about, as you
everyday.
already said.
Yeah, sure.
So basically, start questioning things. Why something happens the way it happens? Why things working the way they are working? If you are inquisitive enough, you're gonna crack into the industry, right? If you'll be just roaming around here and there, it will going to be a little difficult, right? So it's better you start with UI, then
Yeah.
gradually start learning about UX and human psychology, and start applying all those principles to your interfaces. That's how you can design the optimal experience and pick up real world problem, the problem that you face, your parents face, your neighbors face, right? Or the problem or the
Okay.
challenges that you see in the existing products. Redesign their experience or prepare at least three solid case studies,
Okay.
right?
Three cases.
And then come once again, once you have your portfolio ready, I'm gonna be there to help you out.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
initially, until unless you have something to showcase me, it's a little difficult to guide you on that. So I can
Yeah.
suggest you a whole lot of content now. And from my perspective, I'll be finding a little short, right? Just read about this, read about this, read about this. So initially, you just figure out your way to do the things, understand UI, understand UX, understand human psychology, and understand product thinking. These four topics, understand. You just need to understand, and you need to understand the reasoning behind all these like four topics. Once you have your portfolio ready, you can connect with me once again. I'm gonna help you out the
Yeah.
complete, like to carve the complete story, how to document your case study,
Okay.
right? How to
Okay.
tell a story through a case study, that we can talk about later. But for the moment, I can suggest you at best work on these four topics. Work about, like, learn about UI fundamentals, UI tools, learn about UX, learn about
UX.
human psychology and behavior, and learn about product thinking,
Product thinking.
how the product works basically. Learn
Okay.
about product thinking. So these four things you need to work on. And once you have your portfolio ready, you can come once again. We can talk about that. I'll be available for you. And in between, if you have your portfolio ready, then I can critique that also. Because I am pretty good in product. I have been to the product since last 5 years. So I do understand the product space pretty well. But
Okay.
as far as these designing for the websites, if I'll be critiquing that, it will going to be a little challenging here, because as I am just getting to know, like, you have very little understanding of UI UX. So it's better you start learning about it, and give yourself, at least if you have already given like couple of months time, now at least give, on my suggestion, like 45 days to yourself. At least 15 days for UI, 15 days for user experience, 15 days for psychology, and 15 days for product thinking.
Product
60
thinking.
days these are. Like, once you are done with the, like, first three topics, you're gonna have your portfolio ready. And then I'm gonna talk about the product thinking. I'm gonna discuss with you, we're gonna brainstorm together. So then we can figure it out together. So now, do you have any question?
Yeah. I do have some. But most of them are covered in it. I do get unpaid work in recent times. So yesterday I did get an unpaid work. So do I need to do that, or they are also asking me to code it, develop it? I don't know
See,
the developing part right now, but they are asking me to develop it. So I'm not clear in it.
got your point. It's pretty subjective, however, but I can answer your question generally. I do not recommend to work on any free project, but if it is from the I'm talking from this side of the table, right?
Okay.
But I can feel you from that side also, right? If you're getting exposure, if you are not financially challenged, right, then you can work on the free project also. It's not a challenge, right? If you're getting exposure, if you're building for a real product, you'll be collaborating on real product, right? If they are also at the same stage, they are just starting it out, then it would be waste of time. But if they already have a product, they are asking you to work on unpaid project, then it might be lucrative. You can get the real project to work on, and never work on any website, never work on any landing page in these case scenarios.
Okay.
If they have a real product that is already into the market, then start working on that. If they are allowing you to work, right?
On the
Or if they're
product.
asking you to work on unpaid project, it has to be value
Product
addition to your portfolio,
valuation.
right? If it is value addition to your portfolio, like, these websites are not at all value addition, right? because they
Okay,
want
I
some
got
free
it. I
work.
got
That
it.
is why they are reaching out to you. So make sure you are working on real product that is
Okay.
already into the market. In that case, you can work on unpaid project or even for 4 or 5 days, 15 days maximum. If it's longer than that, ask for the money. You are working for them. You are
Okay.
delivering something to them. You are delivering value to them. So whatever you deserve, ask for that. So, but
Okay.
after all, like I am not in favor of recommending you all that, but still, all right, ask for the
Yeah.
money if
Okay.
that is more than that. Anything else?
Yeah. No. Everything is covered right now.
Great.
Everything is. I
So
had a lot of doubts, and it is around 10, but everything is covered with. Covered. This one is
you hope
covered.
you got answer to all your questions.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I'm happy with it.
All right, Satya. It was nice talking to you.